So Jeanne and I were hired back in 1993 by Sister St. Anne to teach various levels of Spanish. She was a mentor. She was also just a big inspiration as far as teaching goes. And I guess more importantly, she has become one of my dearest friends.
I think my mom is deserving to be inducted because she's the last person that would want to be inducted. She went to school here from 1973 and graduated in 77, and then came back after me and my sisters were born, spent some time being a stay-at-home mom, and taught here from 1993 until 2021. You know, when I think of what Lake Catholic stands for, I think of my mom and her integrity and her compassion for students and her commitment to the school. You know, I think a lot of times when you think of schools and high schools, the sports rightly are the face of the school and they get recognized for excellence. But I think there's also excellence in longevity and commitment and compassion to your students.
When she taught here, she was known as Mean Jeanne. And I just always used to laugh when the kids would say, call her Mean Jeanne, that they didn't want her as a teacher. They thought she was mean, and I'm like, you have this totally wrong. And then I used to love when they would come back to me after they had her for the 4th year and be like, she's not mean at all. I'm like, I told you so.
Actually, my mom was my teacher. She wrote me up for chewing candy in class, so I'm not going to forget that. But that goes to her integrity because she, you know, even her own son, she's going to stick with the rules.
She had the opportunity to also inspire some students who continued their love of the language in college and now are working in a profession that they utilize the Spanish language daily.
You know, I remember one day Mrs. Ebner came up to me after class and she said, hey, you know, you should really get in touch with this professor at Cleveland State. I studied abroad with him in Barcelona. You know, you should reach out and see if he has any advice or if he could give you, you know, any information about the program at Cleveland State. And I said, okay. So I got his email. I looked him up, Professor Gingrich, Mrs. Ebner, if you don't remember his name. And, you know, that's where my career started. Mrs. Ebner really set that foundation for me.
I think Jeanne deserves to be recognized in the Hall of Excellence because as an educator, she always held her students to a very, very, very high standard.
She's always been there for me. And Mrs. Ebner definitely is the reason I have such success in my career today. I can't thank her enough.
Jeanne and I, like, we kind of just can look at each other and just, we know what we're thinking. And I really value her input. She's been a big inspiration in my life. We've had just a lot of laughs together.
She's just so humble and such a good person. And I think that the quiet, humble people should be recognized. I think the quiet, humble people should be recognized for their excellence, just the same way that the sports stars and the, you know, everybody else who maybe gets more publicity is. Because I think she made a difference in so many lives and stands for everything that Lake Catholic wants to be.
Hola, señora Ebner. Gracias por tu impacto en mi vida. Te adoro. Un beso y un abrazo. Nos vemos pronto.
Thank you so much for this honor. I'm truly humbled by it, and I can't adequately put into words what it means to me. For as long as I can remember, Lake Catholic's been an integral part of my life, spiritually, academically, socially, and professionally. It began in 1973 when I entered the doors as a freshman in high school, to 1993 when I started teaching at Lake Catholic, through 2021 when I retired. There are so many people to whom I owe gratitude. My own teachers when I attended Lake Catholic, especially Jane Richmond and Sam Colacaro. You instilled in me a love of the Spanish language that was to become my career. Thank you. To my colleagues, too numerous to mention them all, and I'm afraid I'd forget somebody if I tried, but I do have to give special thanks to Alicia Paradise. She's been such a good friend and always willing to help me and help the World Language Department throughout the 28 years that we worked together. She's a quiet pillar of this Lake Catholic community, and I thank you. And to the many other faculty, staff, and administrators who inspired me over the years with their own passion for teaching, service, and commitment to Lake Catholic, thank you to all of you. You deserve this award as much or more so than I do. To my family, my husband Dennis, who ironically started teaching here about at the time that I retired. He always listened to me when I needed to vent, helped me bounce off lesson plan ideas, and helped me with technology, which I was never any good at. Thank you. And to my own children, all three of whom graduated from Lake Catholic and had to deal with a teacher as a mom. They had a different kind of pressure to perform well, both behaviorally and academically. And they never got to miss school just because, or take any kind of senior skip day or anything. Their teacher mom would not make any excuses for them. And finally, to all of my students, both those who made me grateful to be a teacher every day and those who were more of a challenge, all of you helped me to be better in the long run. And thank you to the committee who selected me. It's truly an honor to be nominated here into the Hall of Excellence alongside Judge Weaver and Judge O'Donnell. Thank you. And muchas gracias a todos.